So after that men's doubles, we turn to women's doubles, and it's the Indian pair of Jwala and Ashwini PONNAPPA up against the number 2 seeds Qing and ZHAO. So, of course, both these pairs, medalists from the World Championships last year. The Chinese pair, the silver medal. The pair from India, the bronze medal. So, looking at the pair from India first, and the left-hander is Jwala, 28 years of age, raised in Hyderabad. And her partner, Ashwini PONNAPPA, 22, born in Bangalore. Current world ranking, as you can see, at 19, but they have been as high as 13. Their win-loss record for the year, 2 and 5, so in the negative, and I can tell you that they've had a couple of second-round tournaments. That's the German Grand Prix last week and the Korean Super Series as well. Lost first round in Malaysia, but as you can see, yesterday disposed of the Southeast Asian Games gold medalists from Indonesia, Augustin and Maheswari. 2 straight games, so that a very, very good performance by Gutta and PONNAPPA. So to the Chinese pair, well, they are the number 2 seeds, Qing and ZHAO. Both of them 25 years of age. Quarter-finalists last year, and that actually was a big shock. They were really, in many people's opinions, although their ranking didn't say so at the time, the second best pair in the world, because they'd only recently formed their partnership. But they are well and truly placed at number 2 in the world, reached that status in September last year and remained there ever since. That's 25 weeks at world number 2. And of course, ZHAO on the right, as we look at them, she is a former winner of an All-England title, having been in 3 finals, won the mixed doubles in 2010 as a qualifier with her partner Zhang Nan, and of course they disposed of in the first round yesterday to the British pairing of Chris Adcock and Imogen Bankia. Well, they were in tremendous form in the first round against former world number 1s from Malaysia, Chin Yi and Wong Pei Ti. 2 straight games, as you can see. So this, the 4th meeting between these 2 pairs. The previous 3 have all gone in favour of the number 2 seeds, Qing and ZHAO. The last, incidentally, was at the Asian Team Championships qualifiers, of course, for the Yuba Cup, 2 straight games. In fact, all of their 3 previous encounters have been won by the Chinese pair in 2 straight games. So, Anthony, they are overwhelming favourites. Of course they are. They've already had success this year. They won the Korean Open Super Series event, the first premier Super Series event in the OSIM WF World Super Series. But I think the Indian pair are big tournament players. They won the gold medal at the Commonwealth Games, bronze medalists at the World Championships last year. And it seems to me that the pair from India always seem to do well on the big occasion.
Yeah, absolutely. They seem to love the pressure. Jwala especially. She's a real sort of big-time player. You know, with the more important the match, the more kind of character comes out and kind of oozes confidence around the court. And her partner is very, very quick. Jwala is the creator, and her partner just flying around the court, very, very quick, very, very solid, and a very good combination. But they're up against it against the Chinese today. The Chinese girls dominate the world of ladies doubles.
So both are court officials from England, because no English or British players on court. But it's interesting what you just said about PONNAPPA, because of course she gave up singles with the opportunity of forming this right, women's doubles pair.
And ZHAO, China. And on my left, Jwala and Ashwini PONNAPPA India. Jwala Gupta to serve. The Qing, love all. Play.
So the bronze medalists from last year's World Championships nearest to us against the silver medalists from last year's World Championships. Qing and ZHAO Yunlei only formed their partnership by default, really, at the Asian Games in Guangzhou at the end of 2010, because, of course, ZHAO Yunlei was supposed to be playing with Qing, but she was either injured or ill. We can't really get exactly what the problem was, and therefore Qing stepped into her shoes in the individual draw, and they promptly won the gold medal, beating Wang Xiaoli and Yu Yang in the final. Then their first Open tournament at the beginning of 2011, the Malaysian Super Series, they won that as well. The first two tournaments together, they won. Well, there we have His Royal Highness the Duke of York talking to Chief Executive of Badminton England, Adrian Christie.
3-1.
There they are. And what a delight to see His Royal Highness here at the All England Championships. But Anthony, just going back to that point about the Chinese forming their partnership and immediately having so much success. I mean, it's extraordinary. You don't expect new pairs to come onto the scene and beat what's the current world #1s at the time.
It just shows the quality of all the Chinese players. They've got so many girls that can just step up to the plate. You know, there's so many players back in China that can probably never get the opportunity to come to an event like this, but could potentially actually come and win an event. And that just shows that's a real credit to their nation and how strong they are in depth. There's no other country in badminton that has that kind of strength all round.
Service over. 5-2.
Why is that? Is that, you know, no other country has that much strength in depth? Because obviously most populated country in the world, there's more people to choose from, I accept that, but is it also because badminton is the most popular sport in the whole of China, more so, I'm told, than table tennis? It's the most popular sport, and of course their whole provincial setup of training centres and sports schools. Is that why they're so good?
Absolutely. Obviously the population size makes a big difference, but obviously badminton is such a popular sport over there that everybody wants to be a part of it. You know, young players as young as 5 or 6 are training very hard to try and copy some of these top players. You know, Lin Dan is an absolute inspiration to these younger players, and everybody wants to be somebody like Lin Dan, and just keep producing and producing, and their system is so good even around the country, not just within the national squad, but their provincial teams are incredibly strong. I think even some of those could come abroad and compete against other top nations.
Of that I have little doubt. But also, I mean, got to give credit where credit's due. I think there's been a real resurgence of Indian badminton as well, and of course there's been a lot of attention on women's singles player, former world junior champion Saina Nehwal, and now I believe that this women's doubles pair are getting a little more of the attention which they certainly deserve, because they really have been outstanding. Good rally.
Just going back to that point where you were saying, Jill, about the Indians, they are producing a lot of good players now. I had the fortunate occasion to watch a lot of them play at the Austrian Open a few weeks ago, and they've got a very young squad, but a lot of them, and the quality that they're playing the game with now is very impressive. You know, they're probably the best up-and-coming country in the whole of world badminton at this current time.
Missed it.
9-3.
Well, there on the right, as we look at them, is one of the very big reasons why India are doing so well in World Badminton. Pullela Gopichand, 2001 All England champion, won this title here. And his training centre in Hyderabad. Service fault called.
Service over.
Service struck above the waist.
4-9. Service over. 10-4. Interval.
Well, a 7-point advantage for Tian Qing and Zhao Yunlei at the mid-game interval. Yes, and Tian Bingyi, all of the two coaches. You look at the coaches nowadays, Anthony, and it's a who's who of former badminton greats. So many of them. But, you know, obviously we know that this Chinese pair, number 2 in the world rankings, and rightly so, their results have been absolutely outstanding. I'm just wondering, you know, I look at them play, and they're both very much all-court players. Both very good at the back of the court, very strong, very agile in their movement. Whereas I think with the pair from India, Jwala Gutta is brilliant at the front of the court, but perhaps not so mobile from the back. She's got a very powerful smash, but they have very much a favoured formation. You've got a pair with Jwala Gutta who wants to go forward, her partner wants to be at the back, playing against a pair who really don't mind where they are on court, and I think at the moment that's causing the Indians problems.
Absolutely.
5-11.
The Chinese are so awesome at all areas of the game. You know, if they have a weakness, they will go back to training and work on that weakness till that weakness becomes a strength. And that's where perhaps the Indian girls need to go away from a tournament like this, and sort of, if they want to beat these Chinese players, is to develop the other skills that they don't possess. And if it's a case of having to work very, very hard in training and work round the back a lot more for Jwala Gutta, then that's what she's got to do if she wants to make the step up to being All England champion, for example.
6-11.
Yeah, good judgment.
Zhao
Yunlei. Interesting that she became a badminton player when you consider her mother is a tennis coach. Big resurgence of tennis now in China, of course, after Li Na winning the French Open last year.
Absolutely. Li Na was a former member of the Chinese national squad at badminton, and maybe rightly so, she made the right choice, because she's going to be very successful in that sport.
Not only very successful, but I was reading something that Li Na is the highest paid female athlete in the world of any sport. That's interesting, isn't it? Well, a little bit of grumble about the serve and a little bit of grumble about the call. Yeah, now that's where Jwala Gutta is just brilliant.
8-12.
Absolutely. Very, very, very powerful player. When she gets a big wind-up on it, she can really punish opponents, but she's also got very good skill too. And she does take a big swing, but then can play with such delicate strokes a lot of the time.
Service over. 13-8.
In fact, I might be right in thinking that she's the only player left in the world that has a forehand serve in the game of doubles, which actually gives her a bit of an advantage because it's a bit more deceptive than other people's.
Yes,
14-8.
My former colleague Ian Wright and I have discussed this on many an occasion about her forehand serve and how effective it is.
It's just very, very different. You know, everybody else has a backhand serve, and of course people have deceptive serves, but the fact is nobody trains against that kind of thing anymore. And she does get away with a lot, but she does have very, very good racket skills. She's got a very, very relaxed wrist, and she can actually do very wide serves. She can open her wrist and manage to hit the shuttle very flat. And it does give her a big advantage, certainly in the mixed doubles.
And of course, she's a very fine mixed doubles too with Dijou Valiavito.
Service over.
Disappointment for Ashwini PONNAPPA. Error on the serve. She's just going through a little bit of a bad patch at the moment, is PONNAPPA. Needs to refocus. There's another error. Trying, I can see it. She's trying to do the right thing. It's just not working. Now, as a player, Anthony, how do you get yourself out of that when you find yourself in that scenario in a match?
Very, very difficult, of course. You know, the Chinese are so good in all areas that you feel like there is no gap.
18-9.
Quite often you've just got to give yourself a bit of time, make your opponents wait at the start of rallies. First of all, you've got to get your legs moving and just try and grind out rallies a bit more, just so that you feel that you're flowing a bit better in the game.
Oh, delightful. Extraordinary cross-court slice
19-9.
from ZHAO Yunlei. Oh, clever. Well, I have to say I feel sorry for her at the moment.
Game point 9.
Just struggling to find her range and find her form. And normally, such a good, consistent player. But now, it is 11 game point opportunities for the number 2 seeds. Oh, my goodness.
Service over.
Really forced into that error by the good anticipation from Jwala Gutta. Another error from the PONNAPPA racket, and that means that the number 2 seeds
Tian
Qing and ZHAO Yunlei take the opening game in very convincing style. 21-10. Well, I should think the Chinese coaches will be very happy with that, and I should think the message is, well, keep doing what you've been doing.
Absolutely. I think every day in training the Chinese girls push themselves more and more than any other nation. And one thing that they do, and I had the pleasure to see this many, many years ago, was that their girls play against the men. You know, it gives them such an advantage that the power that they're used to playing against is so much better than what they're playing against now.
Well, there, Pallela Gopinchand, he will be a little bit concerned, as indeed will the other coach, Edwin Indirawan. Yes, well, time for the coaches to leave the court. The Indian coach is trying to get every last second out of the 2-minute timeout. Yeah, urging them to stick to the tactical plan.
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court 1, 20 seconds.
Umpire calls them back, ready for the start of this second game.
Second game. Love all. Play. Oh.
Deceptive flick serve to start the second game from ZHAO Yunlei. And a big smile from her. And, you know, Anthony, we were talking about the fact that they were so impressive in the opening game, the #2 seeds. I can't help but wonder whether this player, ZHAO Yunlei, because she was #1 seed in the mixed doubles, because she lost last night, whether in fact she isn't even more motivated and more fired up for today's women's doubles match.
Absolutely, she won't want to come away from this tournament without a good performance, and being top seeds in the mixed doubles, going out first round is a terrible result from her point of view. And she'll be definitely looking to capture the title in the ladies.
Yeah, that's nice. Good shot from Jwala Gutta.
I think the serve return is a big factor for the Indian players. They, all the long rallies seem to be going to the Chinese, so if they can finish rallies quick, I think that might be the tactic to go with.
Serve, return of serve, and the third shot is critical to any doubles, though, isn't it?
Absolutely. If you can't serve, you can't even get in the rally. So huge part of the game, and obviously returning again, you can put so much pressure to build a rally, and something that players will practice time and time again in training. You know, of course, we like to see long rallies, but a big part of the game of doubles these days is the first 3 shots.
Service over. 3-all. Service over.
I know I'm going to oversimplify this, Anthony, but in basic terms, I can't see the Indian pair winning by defending. They have to get themselves on the attack. They have to get Jwala Gutta to the net, intercepting as she does. She reads the game quite beautifully. But too many rallies like that one and the previous one, they're on the defensive.
5-3.
Yeah, it's a strange tactic they're using. I would never want to play against the Chinese players and just give them the attack all day long. That's what they do every day. It's tactic that they want you to enforce. The Chinese girls are so much stronger and quicker than others.
I think in all fairness, though, I don't think the Chinese pair are allowing the Indian pair to get on the attack. I think they're serving so well. They're right from the onset of the rally looking to attack, and once they're on the attack, the Chinese pair are relentless. They won't let go. So somehow, and I don't know how you do it, perhaps you can tell us, how do you turn that around? If you're being forced to defend the whole time, how do you suddenly get on the attack? Well, they've managed to now.
Absolutely. I mean, when they're on the attack, very, very effective.
Brilliant.
Service over.
problem that's happening, both of the Indian players, when they're returning serve, are quite happy to just lift the return. They've got to be looking to control the net off the serve. What I mean by that is playing an actual net shot to their opponents. Make the Chinese lift to them for a change.
Service over.
And of course, you need to back up
7-4.
good returns of serve where you get the shuttle yourself to put in good serves.
Absolutely. You know, I said before, big element of this game is about the serve and return, but it is about just getting it into play. You know, the Indian girls are really struggling with how tight the Chinese serves are, and that's why they've taken up the tactic of just lifting everything. Neither of them have actually just gone for a basic straight net shot. Get the lift.
Well, luck of the net court.
5-8.
But in all honesty, I thought the Indian pair deserved that rally because they had managed to get on the attack. I know that was a lucky finish.
Exactly the formation that the Indian pair want. You know, PONNAPPA at the back and Jwala at the net. It's an awesome combination. They just don't seem to be able to get it going often enough.
Well, they'll have to serve again, Jwala Gutta, because ZHAO Yunlei saying she wasn't ready. Short. Oh, good defence. Oh, superb. And the defence there, just guiding the shuttle back rather than lifting. Yeah, that's nice, isn't it?
She did very well to retrieve that smash. It was really hit to the hip, and she managed to get a lovely racket on it and brush it very tight to the net, and then commanding the net.
Yeah, it's going to land way in. Bad misjudgment from Qing.
7-8.
Head coach Lee Yongbo regards Qing very highly indeed. Says she's got a flexible personality and a flexible style, and therefore she can team up with anyone and make a really good pair.
8-all. Thank you. Service over. 9-8.
Well, there's no doubt as to who the commander is of this partnership. Jwala Gutta, more senior of the two players. She's 28. PONNAPPA just 22.
Service over.
That's her partner
9-all.
in instruction.
She's always been that kind of a character, even in the mixed doubles. She likes to lead from the front, and she is a dominant force on the court, and she just needs a solid partner who moves very quick round her, and that normally is the combination these two bring to the table.
Service over. 10-9.
But it's interesting to me. I've read in the Indian newspapers how Ashwini PONNAPPA has really given praise to her partner for the amount of encouragement she gives. She's not only giving tactical advice, she's also encouraging and urging her younger partner on, and that's always good to see as we go to the mid-game interval. Number 2 seeds with a 2-point advantage. And a much, much closer affair here in this second game. Anthony, you've recently experienced the seniors role within a partnership with a much younger partner and bringing him on, because language and helping him and advising him, and it's, you know, it is something that's absolutely necessary to bring on younger players.
Absolutely. I know a big part of becoming a new partnership, and certainly when you're coming up through the ranks as a youngster, is to really feel good about yourself. You know that your partner's got 100% faith in you, and so that you can really sort of draw from their experience and the confidence that they have to bring out your best play. Because at the end of the day, when you're playing against the best players in the world, you have to play at your best, you have to feel confident, otherwise you will lose every match.
Out. Service over. 10-11.
It was such a good rally.
12-10.
Brilliant defence from the Chinese. She really stepped in on that final shot and put Jwala under so much pressure, she just didn't know what to do with that reply.
Oh yes, that was a very good reason why she's world champion in the mixed doubles. ZHAO Yunloye. He absolutely reads the game at the front of the court. Quick racket work as well. Oh, it's a good call. Was just wide.
11-13.
Yep. Copious notes being taken. Strengths and weaknesses noted.
12-13. Service over.
Well, I suppose one of the problems, Anthony, is when your opponents do keep getting everything back and their defence is so good, you think you've got to hit something extra special and you try and make it too tight to the net, too steep, and that's when you start making errors.
Absolutely. You know, clearing the net by a couple of inches isn't going to put you in any trouble. People do think that they have to hit the perfect shot all the time to cope with playing against the Chinese players, and it isn't the case. You know, you've just got to get it in and over it as much as you possibly can and hope that they are, you know, there are gaps in their defence.
It's gone long, and once again, they're back level. Yeah, good judgment. But so much more positive within the rallies.
15-14.
Well, serving out wide, but not fooling Qing one iota. That's clever positioning of the smash.
16-14.
It's great movement between the Chinese, rotating off each other. One goes out, the other goes out. It just confuses you when you're on the defence. You don't know which way it's coming from.
Great backhand. Yeah, follows it up with a great smash aimed towards the right shoulder of Qing.
Takes a phenomenal amount of wrist power to hit that drive down the line. There it is there. Yeah, she does look very slight. She has an incredibly powerful wrist.
Oh, so close. But close isn't good enough. Oh, terrific. Oh, not only lightning quick reactions, but also the awareness to guide that across court.
Absolutely. I mean, you can't get any better than that. She took it so early. She knew the gap was there. Just awesome execution.
Oh, it's gone wide. And the Chinese pair
15.
creeping ever closer to their goal. Just 2 points from securing the match. Oh, good flick serve. Well,
20, match point, 15.
knew she had to try and do something a little different. Stepped into the smash, but made the error. And now 5 match points for the number 2 seeds. Yeah, only needed the one. Well, they are an awesome pair, and they look to be in awesome form. I did wonder how ZHAO Yunlei would react after that surprise defeat in the mixed doubles yesterday. And I think her performance today has answered any questions I had in my own mind, because she was absolutely superb. Their confirmation of the score, 21-10, 21-15 in 31 minutes of play. So they've got themselves safely into the quarterfinal. And I think we probably already know their opponents in tomorrow's quarter-final, because as you can see, 4 courts in action, and indeed it will be the number 7 seeds Christina Pedersen and Camilla Ruta-Jul of Denmark, who of course won the Malaysian Super Series event, the second Super Series event of 2012. So that's the lineup for the quarterfinals for tomorrow in the bottom section of the draw.